Hello everyone. Today I've got three really fantastic horror books for you guys to check out. All of these are so well written, and the most important thing is that they're very unsettling. They will dig into your soul, dig into your mind, and you'll remember these books long after you're finished reading. They just all have this tension and this unsettling feeling comes over you when you're reading, you know, and it's just fantastic. And before we get started, I want to remind you that I have horror books for sale. And if you want to pick up a copy of my debut horror novel called Pray for Salvation, there's a link down below where you can check out that one along with all the rest of my horror books. And don't forget that I am still giving away absolutely free, no cost, no obligation, a copy of one of my anthologies called The Things That Happen at Night. There is a special link down below. It's at that link and only at that link where you can pick up your copy absolutely free. Just go there and download it as a way of saying thank you. And don't forget to check out my Patreon. This month on Patreon, for all my Patreon members out there, if you didn't get the notification, I have given you a list of 5 absolutely free horror books from Amazon. I have curated them myself. I think you'll love all 5 of these, and they are absolutely free, not just on Kindle Unlimited, but free for anybody. You can go to Amazon, buy the book for free, download it, and read it on your Kindle app or your Kindle device, whatever you have. And that's exclusive for my Patreon members, so check that out if that's something you'd be interested in. All right, let's get started. So the first book I want to talk about today is a Western horror. I've been on a real Western horror kick lately, and this is one of the best ones I've ever read. It's terrifying, it's disturbing, but it's also really full of heart. And this is called Red in Tooth and Claw. And at the time I'm making this video, it comes out tomorrow. So there's no reason for you not to want to go and check this one out. Trust me, it is a banger. Basically, it's about a 17-year-old girl who loses her grandfather. Her grandfather is the last remaining family member she actually has. But she was kind of raised by him, and he hid her identity ever since she was a little girl. She dressed him and presented him as a boy because of the times. It's just easier to be a man or a boy during that time. Otherwise, they try to marry you off when you're 15 and things like that. So she has lived as a man this whole time, and she continues to do so because she's taken her grandfather's lessons very well. But after he dies, even though she has the deed to his house, the mayor of the town decides that she's not yet 18, so he's going to send her off to a settlement to live about a day's ride away. He claims it's for her benefit, but really what he wants is to find that deed for himself and find a way to wrangle that house and the property from her for his own benefit. So he's not doing it to be benevolent in any way. But he sends her to this settlement, and this settlement is run by a very religious, almost cult-like group who worship something they call the Shining God. They're very strict and very demanding, and once she gets there, even though she's accepted as a guest, she realizes she can't really leave. Not only do they have armed guards around the walkways on top of this fort in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a wooded area, but the minister, the main minister, is someone who takes almost too keen of an interest in her, so she cannot leave. Plus, there's something beyond the walls, something that they tell people you cannot go out of these walls at night. And it's something horrific and something with tooth and claws. It kills for sport. And pretty soon people start going missing from the fort. Body and body parts start showing up around the area there. Now this main character in this book is one of the main reasons it's so good. So well written. She is all at once, she's not trusting at all. She is sarcastic. She is not standoffish, but she's very much a lone wolf type character. But she realizes soon that if she wants to escape, if she wants to find out what's killing all these people, that she's going to have to rely on somebody. And that does not come easy for her because she is very untrusting. And these relationships she forms with these other characters take time over the course of the book. They don't just happen automatically like some miracle happened and all of a sudden she's best friends with somebody. It takes work and it takes effort. And that builds a tension because we never know as a reader, as we're following this story, if she can trust any of these people or not. Because they're all part of this little cult-like religious community, you know. But all of these characters in here are just make this book stand out because they're so well written. This world and the narrative is so immersive. I mean, you will find yourself right alongside her during the story. This is one of those books, again, cliche I know, but it's true, I did not want to put down, and I didn't until I finished it. Because it was just so good, I wanted to see what happened, I wanted to see where this path would take her. And when you get to the truth about what this creature is, and exactly what it's being used for, it gets even more horrifying. Like something you probably did not imagine if you think it's just another monster story. It is not. It's full of heart. It's full of horror. It'll leave you unsettled as you're reading. And you'll just love this world and these characters. And I just wanted more. I hope there's a sequel with these characters. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I highly recommend this book. And there is a link down below where you can pick up your copy through Amazon. And next we have a book that just came out, Coup de Grace. Now, this one, oh man, if you like liminal spaces, if you like these closed, claustrophobic type books that just make you feel like you can't escape, you are going to love this one as much as I did. This one is about a man. He's on a train in Toronto, a subway, and he's going to take it all the way to the end where there's a lake, and he is going to kill himself. So I should say that this book does deal with suicidal ideations throughout, because this is a suicidal man. He's going to kill himself at the end of this subway ride. But he gets off at another station before he gets to the end, and when he turns to go back, the train is gone. He's trapped in the station. He can't escape. He can't leave. But the funny thing is, nobody is around. There's no other people. There's no hustle and bustle. There's nothing open. No stores. Nothing. He finds himself trapped in this place. And throughout this book, he is going to explore not only himself and the reasons for why he's doing what he intended to do, but he's going to find himself going down hallway after endless hallway, and they all seem to look alike. He's going to find rooms that have horrific, unimaginable things in there, or he's just going to come to dead ends and have to circle back and find another hallway. It's just an endless, empty place that he's find himself stuck in, that he cannot escape. And he's not completely alone, though. There is something there that is following him. And this thing seems to know this place a lot better than he does. And he's going to come into some very horrific circumstances while he's trying to find his way out of this space. And even though this does deal with this thought that he's in a huge maze that he cannot escape from, it is claustrophobic, as I said, because he's trapped in there. There's nobody around. He has to figure out how to eat, how to drink, how to live. All the while, we're going to find out how he came to be there in the first place. And this book is just fantastically unsettling as we are with him every step of the way in this labyrinth-like place that he can't escape from. And it made me feel, you know, after I read it, it was like I just wanted to open up all my windows, open my door, just to be sure that everything on the outside was still as it should be in my world. That's the way this book made me feel. It is simply fantastic. And it's a novella, so it's not going to take you a long time to read, but you'll definitely remember some of these scenes once you do finish. Because it's pretty bleak, it's pretty dark, it really messes with your head, and I absolutely love that. I do highly recommend it, of course, and there is a link where you can pick up your copy in the description. And next we have a book that came out a few years ago. It was even made into a movie for Netflix. I never saw the movie, but I'd never even heard of this book. It came recommended to me by somebody's opinion that I trust very highly when it comes to books that will disturb and unsettle you. And so I just picked it up, went in blind, and I'm telling you, this one just took me for an emotional ride. It messed with my head. It messed with my emotions in such a way that after I read it, I didn't start another book for like until the next day, because I could not get what was going on in this book out of my head, because it felt like three different stories, even though it's the same. But the way this author writes, you think it's about one thing in one section, then you think it's about another thing, and then we get to the end and you realize that everything you thought was just wrong. And it starts out easily enough. There's a guy and a girl, they've been dating for just a few weeks. They are on a road trip out in the country to the farmhouse where he grew up, and she is going to meet his parents for the first time. And along the way, they're going to have conversations, of course, but we can tell right away that something is not right, because she is going to end things with him. That's basically what I thought the theme was, right? She's thinking about ending things, and she just has to figure out how to do it and how to tell him. It's not that she doesn't love him or that he's a bad guy, but you'll have to read to figure out her thought process in this. And there are, even in this section, when you think it's going to be like a horrible breakup story that's going to end, you know, maybe with murder or something, that's what I thought at first. There are some creepy, disturbing thoughts and things, and the way they seem to communicate with each other. Sometimes things that just seem a little off. But I thought it was just going to be a bad breakup story. Then they get to the farmhouse, and they meet the parents. And then I started thinking, oh, okay, it's not just a breakup story. Something is wrong with this family, because it was a very uncomfortable dinner. The parents were all smiling and happy, but you could tell it was fake. You know, one of those, they're just trying to say the right things when they meet this new girl. And he, all of a sudden, he was excited to go, her boyfriend, but he just turns sullen and quiet. He looks at his plate. He barely talks to his parents at all. And you can just tell that tension there. There's something wrong between them. And she feels very uncomfortable. She gets snooping around. She finds some things that aren't outright horrific, but things that make her question their relationship. And so at that point I thought, okay, she's breaking up with him. He takes her to meet the parents. He knows she's breaking up, and they're going to be like a cannibal family or something. That's what I thought the book was about. And I was wrong. But after, you know, we like I said, it's like three different books. They'll drive out to the parents, and then they meet the parents. But it's after they leave the parents' house that the true form and meaning of this book takes place. And it is just, I can't tell you about the ending. Obviously I can't if you haven't read it, but it just, my mind blown, right? My soul will forever be tarnished because of the ending. And when you realize exactly what is going on throughout this whole book, when it led you down those other paths, making you think, it's going to be about this and this. And then when you find out what it really is, it's just, it was beautiful. But it was very unsettling, very, very disturbing once you realize. And this is a book that you should just go in blind. and just read it, because once you get to the end, it's an emotional 1-2 punch. I can't recommend it enough. You might have already read it, but this was my first time, and goosebumps and chills and everything else at the end there. It was just an excellent book. I highly recommend it. And you can pick up your copy, of course, down below. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time and spending it here with me. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.